Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'll be doing week one, day two of this stuff of going through the Bible in 52 weeks. And so day two is Genesis chapter 5 to chapter 8. 8. Genesis chapter 5.
Genesis 5. This is the book, the written record, the history of the generations of the offspring of Adam. When God created man, he made them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them and named them both Adam, man, at the time they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness after his image, and he named him Seth. After he had Seth, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So altogether, Adam lived 930 years and he died. When Seth was 105 years old, Enosh was born. Seth lived after the birth of Enosh 807 years and had other sons and daughters. So Seth lived 912 years and he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, Kenan was born to him. Enosh lived after the birth of Kenan 815 years and had other sons and daughters. So Enosh lived 905 years and he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, Mahalalel was born. Kenan lived after the birth of Mahalalel 840 years and had other sons and daughters. So Kenan lived 910 years and he died. When Mahalalel was 65 years old, Jared was born. Mahalalel lived after the birth of Jared 830 years and had other sons and daughters. So Mahalalel lived 895 years and he died. When Jared was 162 years old, Enoch was born. Jared lived after the birth of Enoch 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So Jared lived 962 years and he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, Methuselah was born. Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God after the birth of Methuselah 300 years and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years, and Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God. And he was not, for God took him home with him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, Lamech was born to him. Methuselah lived after the birth of Lamech 782 years and had other sons and daughters. So Methuselah lived 969 years and he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, a son was born. He named him Noah, saying, "This one shall bring us relief and comfort from our work and the grievous toil of our hands, due to the ground being cursed by the Lord." Lamech lived after the birth of Noah 595 years and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
I was down to talk to my doctor about Rebelsis. Ask your healthcare provider about Rebelsis today.
The book of Genesis, chapter 1.
Genesis 6. Genesis 6. 6. 6 a.m. AM, PL, IF, IED, Amplified Bible.
Genesis 6. When men began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took wives of all they desired and chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not forever dwell and strive with man, for he also is flesh, but his days shall yet be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God lived with the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination and intention of all human thinking was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved at heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy, blot out, and wipe away mankind whom I have created from the face of the ground, not only man, but the beasts and the creeping things and the birds of the air, for it grieves me and makes me regretful that I have made them. But Noah found grace, favor, in the eyes of the Lord. This is the history of the generations of Noah. Noah was a just and righteous man, blameless in his evil generation. Noah walked in habitual fellowship with God, and Noah became the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was depraved and putrid in God's sight, and the land was filled with violence, desecration, infringement, outrage, assault, and lust for power. And God looked upon the world and saw how degenerate, debased, and vicious it was, for all humanity had corrupted their way upon the earth and lost their true direction. God said to Noah, I intend to make an end of all flesh, for through men the land is filled with violence, and behold, I will destroy them and the land. Make yourself an ark of gopher or cypress wood. Make in it rooms, stalls, pens, coops, nests, cages, and compartments, and cover it inside and out with pitch, bitumen. And this is the way you are to make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits, that is, 450 feet by 75 feet by 45 feet. You shall make a roof or window, a place for light for the ark, and finish it to a cubit, at least 18 inches above, and the door of the ark you shall put in the side of it, and you shall make it with lower, second, and third stories. For behold, even I, will bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy and make putrid all flesh under the heavens, in which are the breath and spirit of life. Everything that is on the land shall die. But I will establish my covenant, promise, pledge with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh found on land, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of fowls and birds according to their kinds, of beasts according to their kinds, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind. 2 of every sort shall come in with you, that they may be kept alive. Also take with you every sort of food that is eaten, and you shall collect and store it up, and it shall serve as food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him.
Okay. Genesis chapter 7. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. AM. AM. PL. AM. AM. PL. PLIF. IF. IF, IF, IED, IED. Genesis chapter 7, AM, PL, I, I, IF, IED, Amplified Bible.
Genesis 7. And the Lord said to Noah, Come with all your household into the ark, for I have seen you to be righteous, upright, and in right standing before me in this generation. Of every clean beast you shall receive and take with you 7 pairs, the male and his mate, and of beasts that are not clean, a pair of each kind, the male and his mate. Also of the birds of the air 7 pairs, the male and the female, to keep seed, their kind, alive over all the earth or land. For in 7 days I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance and thing that I have made I will destroy, blot out, and wipe away from the face of the earth. And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters came upon the earth or land. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, and of birds and fowls and of everything that creeps on the ground, there went in 2 and 2 with Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days the flood waters came upon the earth or land. In the year 600 of Noah's life, in the 17th day of the 2nd month, that same day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and burst forth, and the windows and floodgates of the heavens were opened, and it rained upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day Noah and Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them went into the ark, they and every wild beast according to its kind, all the livestock according to their kinds, every moving thing that creeps on the land according to its kind, and every fowl according to its kind, every winged thing of every sort. And they went into the ark with Noah, 2 and 2 of all flesh, in which there were the breath and spirit of life. And they that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded Noah, and the Lord shut him in and closed the door round about him. The flood, that is the downpour of rain, was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bore up the ark, and it was lifted high above the land. And the waters became mighty and increased greatly upon the land, and the ark went gently floating upon the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed so exceedingly, and were so mighty upon the earth, that all the high hills under the whole sky were covered. In fact, the waters became 15 cubits higher, as the high hills were covered, and all flesh ceased to breathe that moved upon the earth, fowls and birds, tame animals, wild beasts, all swarming and creeping things that swarm and creep upon the land, and all mankind. Everything on the dry land, in whose nostrils were the breath and spirit of life, died. God destroyed, blotted out, every living thing that was upon the face of the earth. Man and animals, and the creeping things, and the birds of the heavens were destroyed, blotted out from the land. Only Noah remained alive, and those who were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed mightily upon the earth or land 150 days, 5 months.
Esis. Genesis chapter 8. Chapter 8. A.M. A.M. P.L. 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 I.F. 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 I.E.D. I.E.D. Last one.
Genesis 8. And God earnestly remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to blow over the land, and the waters sank down and abated. Also the fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. The gushing rain from the sky was checked, and the waters receded from the land continually. At the end of 150 days the waters had diminished. On the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat in Armenia, and the waters continued to diminish until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the high hills were seen. At the end of another 40 days, Noah opened a window of the ark which he had made, and sent forth a raven, which kept going to and fro until the waters were dried up from the land. Then he sent forth a dove to see if the waters had decreased from the surface of the ground. But the dove found no resting place on which to roost, and she returned to him to the ark, for the waters were yet on the face of the whole land. So he put forth his hand and drew her to him into the ark. He waited another 7 days, and again sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came back to him in the evening, and behold, in her mouth was a newly sprouted and freshly plucked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the land. Then he waited another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, but she did not return to him any more. In the year 601 of Noah's life, on the first day of the first month, the waters were drying up from the land. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the surface of the ground was drying. And on the 27th day of the second month, the land was entirely dry. And God spoke to Noah, saying, Go forth from the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives with you. Bring forth every living thing that is with you of all flesh, birds and beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the ground, that they may breed abundantly on the land, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his wife and his sons and their wives with him, after being in the ark 1 year and 10 days. Every beast, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever moves on the land went forth by families out of the ark. And Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean 4-footed animal, and of every clean fowl or bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. When the Lord smelled the pleasing odor, a scent of satisfaction to his heart, the Lord said to himself, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the imagination, the strong desire of man's heart, is evil and wicked from his youth. Neither will I ever again smite and destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Okay, that's all. That's all for day for day two on for week 1. Bye.